Alam mo ba na over 90% of New Year's resolutions fail? And I will tell you, dun sa 90% na yun, over 50% nahuhulog na yun January pa lang.
Pero do you have one recommendation amongst the three? Kahit nasabi niyong balance siya.
Yun ang problema ko. That's why I really hate that word. You know, supposedly it's a good word, but I hate it. Why? Guilty ako dun sa mga yun eh. Di ba? Kahit papano in my own little way, may guilt tayo.
Meron ba kayo naging biggest learning mistake last year? Hello everyone! Greeting a happy New Year sa ating mga ka-RFF. Once again, this is your host, Trisha from Ramfer Studio. Here at Ramfer, we help Filipinos achieve their financial dreams. And for our first episode ngayong 2026, we're here again with Boss Rex, Chairman of Ramfer Financial. Boss Rex, for our third episode, ako na naman ang kasama niyo. Kamusta po ang bagong taon niyo?
Okay naman. It's been quite a merry one. It's a fun new year. I hope it augurs well for the entire year. And again, to our ka-RFFs, may this year be an ever-prosperous one for all of us.
So, Boss Rex, di ba usually, pagka New Year, meron tayong tinatawag niya New Year's resolution. So, taon-taon may mga New Year's resolution tayo. May it be a goal or a certain aspect. Pero, of course, here at Ramfer Financial, we're talking about finances. So, do you have a financial goal for this 2026, if you may share, boss?
May alam mo, totoo yan, ano? Parang even at this age, even with so many New Years that I've been through, lagi pa rin syempreng may resolutions. Kasi hindi naman tayo perfectong tao. Syempre, may mga bagay na gusto pa rin nating improve. So, kailangan balikan pa rin natin yung mga aspetong yon so that we can come up with measures with a bit of inspiration and motivation to get ourselves to the next level. Pero teka lang, medyo mahaba yung sagot ko dyan na Tricia ha? Kasi itong resolutions na to, no? or New Year resolutions in general, not just money resolutions, may mabigat akong issue sa ganyan eh. Alam mo ba na over 90% of New Year's resolutions fail. Research yan na 90%. And I will tell you, dun sa 90% na yon, over 50% nahuhulog na yun January pa lang. January pa lang. So itong buwan na to, marami na kaagad failures. Marami na kaagad nangyayari. And let me tell you why. Kasi, alam niyo naman kung ba tayo nagre-resolution, parang ika nga behaviorally, it's a fresh year, panibagong panimula. So, parang kumbaga, clean slate. Pero bakit may mga issues regarding success? Kasi number one, wala naman talagang ganong kabigat na commitment. Kaya ang dali-daling bumalik sa dati. Pangalawa, syempre, ang focus ng marami, and this is where a lot of people make mistakes sa Tricia. Kahit yung tanong mo sa akin, medyo palagay ko, guilty ka na dun. Sabi mo, goals. Alam nyo, people focus on goals. Ang problema, walang sistema. Diba? So when you focus on goals and you don't have systems, you will fail. Kasi sabi nga ni James Clear, diba? You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. But over and beyond that, kasi bago pa nagsulat si James Clear ng Atomic Habits, itong resolutions na to, meron na akong issue against that. Kasi ang nangyayari sa marami, hindi naman talaga nila binabago yung identity nila. So, nag-goals ka, pero hindi nagpalit yung identity mo. So, dapat daw, at a very basic level, magbago ka ng pananaw sa sarili mo. For example, pag sinabi mong, I will be financially free this year. I will be a person who's financially responsible this year. Yung identity na yun, pag talagang paninindigan mo, yun ang magdadala ng fulfillment ng resolution. Pero pag ang pasok ng taon, goal agad. Kunyari, tong first week na to, di ba? Goal agad. Doon tayo magkakaproblema kasi the goal will not rise because the system is not set. At yan, 3 levels yan, Tricia. Yung identity muna, yung identity dapat nagpapasok ng proseso, yung proseso ang nagbibigay ng outcome. So example, I will be financially responsible. As a person, financially responsible. Then, proseso, I will set aside 20% of my income to invest. Outcome, by the end of the year, may 1,000 ko. Or may, sorry, ang baba naman pala ng 1,000. May 100,000 ako or may 1,000,000 ako in an investment portfolio that is allocated for growth. So, yung levels na yun, identity, process, outcome. Hindi pwedeng outcome agad eh. Doon nagkakatalo. Kaya, for a lot of people, share ko lang po sa inyo, and I guess, modesty aside, kaya naman kahit papano, successful tayo sa ating resolutions kasi alam ko yung identity ko eh. At syempre, kailangan, Tricia, panindigan ko yung identity niya. Nagtuturo tayo sa iba, di ba? So, mahirap naman na nagtuturo ka, tapos ikaw mismo, yung identity at reputation mo hindi tama. So, yun. Palagay ko, hopefully, nakatulong yun sa ating mga ka-RFF.
So, basically, Boss Rex, it's more on the mindset, at saka kailangan mong i-allocate yung resolution mo in a sense na attainable siya. Kasi minsan, masyadong mataas yung goal natin, hindi natin iisip, paano ba natin magagawa yung goal na yun? Ano yung proseso para makapunta yun sa goal na yun? Kasi, Boss Rex, if ako, I may share, thankfully, siguro mga 80% nagawa ko. Kasi, syempre, as a goal getter, gusto ko kung ano talaga yung magiging resolution ko for this year. Talagang magagawa ko kasi parang feel ko, ikamamatay ko pag hindi ko nagawa eh. Kaya for this one, mga ka-RFF, share ko lang, siguro ang aking financial goal din, Boss Rex, is to be more familiar with the other types of investments out there. Kasi we're talking about financial goals, right? Kasi ngayon, ma-share ko lang mga ka-RFF, ako, ang investment ko is more on yung medyo play safe lang. Si mutual fund siya kasi UITF kasi meron tayong mga fund managers. But hopefully, sooner or later, I get to navigate stocks din. Tsaka yung REITs kasi I heard a lot of things about REITs and we share a lot of contents then regarding REITs. And I hope, by the end of this year, magkaroon din ako ng investments under doon.
Yeah. But that's a very, very good sharing on your part, Tricia, Kasi, syempre, nakakalamang ka, nandito ka sa Ramper. So, ano ba importante din? Kasi importante din talaga may community ka. Kasi pag ikaw lang mag-isa, mahirap din eh. Maliligaw ka, matetempt kang gumawa ng ibang bagay. Pero pag mga kasamahan mo, number one, mga kasamahan mo are also financially responsible. Tinututukan din nila yung growth ng mga portfolio nila. So pag nag-uusap kayo, pinag-uusapan nyo yung mga ginagawa nyo, which is definitely aligned with your goals, As I've said, it becomes a system. Pangalawa, dahil nga you have friends, merong konting internal pressure yon, di ba? Kasi pag medyo naiiwan ka, syempre kahit papano, hahabulin mo or nakakaya sa kanila. Parang ano din to parang, alam mo yun, yung physical well-being natin, di ba? Pag ikaw lang mag-isa tumatakbo, there will be times na ang hirap kasi boring siya. Pero pag may grupo ka na, tas ini-expect nila, lagi kang kasama, di ba may konting internal pressure na medyo gumanda yung physical aspect ng buhay mo dahil yung mga kasama mo healthy. Kung kasama mo lahat matataba, di ba? Ang daling maging mataba din. Parang ganun.
Opo, parang ano din siya naghihilan kayo pataas naman since syempre magkakaibigan kayo. But for this one, Boss Rex, since we're talking about resolution, anong system ang dapat baguhin ng other Filipinos aside from what you've mentioned? Kasi for sure, malaki nga yung percentage, di ba? Based on studies na nag-fail. Pero what habits that they should or they should, recalibrate man lang, boss?
Well, I guess, ang pinakamalaki at pinaka-basic is paying ourselves first. Ang malaking temptation sa Pinoy kasi, pag nakatanggap na sila ng pera, ang dali nang ubusin So dapat, ginagawa natin dito sa Ramper, di ba? Ang payo natin, maghiwalay ka na ng perang pang-invest. Kasi, para hindi mo na siya nahahawakan, hindi mo na nadi-disburse or hindi ka natitempt. Kasi, syempre, di ba, ngayon, manood ka lang ng TikTok, may mga sisingit na live selling or ads, di ba? So, matitempt ka. Hindi ka nag-set aside. So, anong nasa isip mo? Yung pera mo, pwede mong gastusin. So, pag inuna mo yung savings and investments, ang gagastusin mo yung matitira, mapagkakasya mo yung matitira eh. Pero pag lahat open to expenditure, ano mangyayari? O lahat yan magagasta mo kasi available for expenses, no? Available for spending. So yun lang, kailangan may sistemang ganon, and siguro naman this is a good year, 2026 na, talagang subukan nating mag-budget. Di ba? Yung talagang maglaan tayo ng panahon para i-monitor natin ang ating paggasta, monitor natin ang ating pagkita. And lastly, Tricia, ako, very close to my heart, I always start with this, but this time I'm ending with it. Let us try to look for new sources of income. Hindi lang yung iisang source of income mo. Kailangan meron kang, side hustle, meron, di ba, ikaw sumasayaw ka. Alam nyo, dancer ito, ang laki ng kinikita niya dyan. Di ba? So, pag may extrang income ka, edi may extrang pang-invest at pag-save ka, kahit gumagastos ka din naman ng konti.
Since ng mga Pinoy, di ba, kilala yan sa pagiging resilient. No? So, panindigan na natin, since resilient ang mga Pilipino, everyone yan, as advice ni Boss Rex, if you have, an opportunity or given sa inyo na to do side hustles, especially if you have certain talents that you will generate as income, naku, swerte kayo doon kasi hindi lahat bibigyan ng talento. And speaking of systems nga po pala, Boss Rex, okay, so with your advices and especially what happened last year, since we're talking about investment and saving up, meron ba kayong mga major headwind or risk na kailangang antabayan or bantayan ng mga Filipino investors for this year na i-allocate nila yung kanilang certain investment given what happened last year?
Well, syempre, learning experience from last year, marami. No, number one, syempre, pag wala kang tinatawag na emergency fund, maiipit ka talaga. Kasi nagbagsakan yung asset classes eh. And siguro, it's kind of queer kasi sabay-sabay, di ba? Lahat. So, nowhere to hide ka nga. Pero dapat meron kang cash. Dapat meron kang liquidity position. So, marami sa atin hindi nagkaroon ng ample na emergency fund. Pangalawa, siguro yung iba hindi masyadong invest sa maraming asset classes, wala silang tinatawag na diversification. So, in short, if there is concentrated risk, tapos tinamaan ng Pilipinas, wala kang investment, nasa Pilipinas lahat, tatamaan ka talaga. So, ngayon, kung aantabayan na natin ngayon, paano sagot natin sa ganyan? Siyempre, di ba, kailangan consciously magtabi tayo ng emergency funds, mag-rebalance tayo at diversify ng ating mga portfolio. So, alam na natin ang nangyari. Lessons na yan. So, siguro, gawa natin paraan para we're better moving forward.
Actually, Boss Rex, with what just you've mentioned, ngayon ko lang din na-realize, since, syempre, 2026, January, sa mga viewers natin out there and soon to be KRFF, this is also your best time to start investing. Kasi, of course, we have current investors na nag-invest na for the past few years. And now, if you are, thinking na mag-invest, ito na yung good time. Isama nyo na to sa resolution nyo, okay? And please do visit us din nga pala dito sa Ramper kasi we're willing to help you to start investing. So, Boss Rex, despite with what you've mentioned, in terms of, let's say, sectors, meron bang mga strong risk and opportunities for this year?
Ayan, napakagandang tanong yan, Tricia, no? Kasi yun ang medyo na-miss out ko kanina dun sa unang tanong mo. Kasi, di ba, may talagang mga tinamaan eh. Let's face it. I mean, the Philippines was parang kumbaga the victim of so many black swans. Sabay-sabay, hindi na nga one after the other eh. Yung iba nag-o-overlap pa. So, ano talaga yung dapat na gawin natin pag ganun? Di, sabi ko nga, kailangan meron kang emergency fund, meron ka ding tinatawag na extra income para you can, what we call, weather the storm, di ba? However, come to think of it, may mga industriya, may mga sectors na tinamaan na maaaring nasa recovery path for this year. Kasi tingnan mo, last year, ano ba ang isa sa pinakatinamaan? Real estate. And why? Kasi na-delay yung mga rate cuts. Kasi mataas ang ating inflation. So, dahil na-delay yung mga rate cuts, obviously, mortgage rates are high, medyo may konting issues talaga on the reasonableness in terms of pricing of real estate. Hindi siya naging affordable. Pangalawa, alam naman natin, napabalita, medyo may konting oversupply talaga. Tapos, with all of the events, with all of the scandals, syempre, bumaba yung appetite ng market. Pati na rin yung luxury market, bumagal din. So, it hit us from both sides. So, maaring badly battered yung ating property sector. However, this year, sinabi ni BSP, di ba? Last year, nagbaba na sila ng kaunti. Whether late, pero this year daw, sigurado daw yan. Medyo close to 1% yung ibababa this year. Maybe 4 times na tigpo 0.25 or baka mamaya kung talagang matapang sila, meron pang isang galaw na 0.5 ang cut. So ano ibig sabihin? Gaganda ang merkado for real estate. So it can be the recovery story for this year. Bantayan natin yan. Kasi last year, nararamdaman na natin na umaakit na yung take-up eh. Yung last quarter, maganda na yung take-up ha. There is a bit of a reversal from the lows of the second quarter. Now, second, syempre, nandiyan pa din yung banking. Kasi maganda pa rin yung negosyo eh. Talagang brisk pa rin, ano? At pinakamaganda, hindi naman ganun kasagwa yung ating tinatawag na default rate. Yung mga businesses, yung mga tao, nagbabayad naman talaga ng utang. Hindi kagaya yun ng 2008, 1997, na ang sama ng experience natin dun sa tinatawag na bad loans. This year, hindi ganun kabigat yun. So, ang mangyayari, pag hindi ganun kabigat yan this year, yung mga bangko, kikita yan at makakaramdam ka ng cash flow sa kanila dahil mataas po, in general, mataas magbigay ng dividendo ang mga yan. So, these are the sectors to watch out for. And because, alam nyo naman, property, alam nyo naman ang banking and finance, medyo dominated yan ng ating tinatawag na conglomerates. Bantayan nyo na rin yung conglomerates. Baka bumalik din yung mga yan, yung SM, yung Ayala Corporation. Kasi di ba, sila may-ari ng BDO, sila may-ari ng BPI. Di ba? Sila rin yung may-ari ng SM Prime Holding. Sila din ang may-ari ng Ayala Land. So, maaring maging magandang taon din ito for conglomerate. So, yes, last year we're really hit hard and the market has really tanked, so to speak. But this year, palagay ko po, maganda-ganda ang makikita natin, especially for the second half. Siguro ngayon, Tricia, first half, medyo pakiramdaman pa yan. Hindi pa yan talagang solid ang pag-akyat. But ako, nakikita ko nga, I agree with the comments of some analysts na this is a year of two halves. Two halves daw. Yung first half, maaring hindi kasing ganda nung second half. Kasi itong first half, dala pa rin niya yung mga problema ng last year. Pero yung tinatawag na structural change nangyayari na. So maaring maging maganda yung second half.
So basically, Boss Rick, with what you've said po, talagang trust muna natin yung market kasi minsan ang common misconception na napapansin ko lang din sa mga investors and Filipinos is gusto agad nila yung agaran talaga, yung alam mo yung parang result agad dahil ang pangit last year, so by next month, by February, okay na ba? Kasi I think yun din talaga yung common misconception and may tawag kayo dun, Boss Rex, ano nga po ulit yun, yung gusto agaran agad?
Yun ang getting rich quick mentality, di ba?
Get rich.
Parang kung maaari lang bukas na, bawi na tayo. Kung gusto nyo palang ganun, sa casino na tayo pumunta. Huwag na tayo mag-invest, di ba? Kasi doon sa casino, alam na natin ngayong gabi kung panalo ka o hindi. But again, sickness ng Pinoy yan. Gusto natin mabilisan. So, and that's the reason why there has to be a lot of patience. Kasi while sinasabi namin po na maganda magiging investments this year, hindi naman talaga namin masasabi kung kailan magre-recover yan. We're just saying that many of these securities are selling at deep discounts and they are really, really at valuation levels that are enticing. Pero, baka magtagal, hindi natin masabi. Kaya nga sabi ko, two halves, baka medyo may konting delay, pero dapat ready din tayo dun sa delay. Ngayon, kung hindi mangyari yung delay, mapaaga yung recovery, di okay lang po, di ba? Lamang tayo.
Okay. So, next topic tayo, Boss Rex. Let's talk about the global and US market. We all know na last year, 2025, medyo popular ang US market. Can you share us our recap? Ano nga po nangyari last year?
Kasi talagang sobrang ganda ng nangyari sa Amerika dahil alam mo, ang lead talaga ng buong mundo sa investments is technology. Okay? Technology ang nagdala. So, yung sinasabi nating Magnificent Seven sa Amerika, lahat yung technology eh. 'Di ba? Lahat yun na nasa AI space, lahat yun nasa consumer space, but really all anchored on tech. 'Di ba? Yun ang nagliparan, no? So, syempre, medyo ang laki ng itinaas ng S&P 500 or even ng Dow kasi yung mga lead companies na nakapasok sa mga index na yon are all technology companies and they're the big ones. Now, there are also advantages dun sa mga whether we like or hate Trump. May advantage yung sinasabi niyang Make America Great Again eh. Kasi parang yung mga kumpanya maaring talagang merong appetite to invest dahil alam nila poproteksyonan sila ni Trump. Di ba yung pag nagbibigay ka ng tariff kasi sa ibang bansa, yung mga produkto nila mas magiging mas mahal pagpasok. So magiging protected or magiging maganda ang business environment for the American companies manufacturing or producing within the US. So nagkaroon ng tinatawag nating concentration, sabi nga natin, multipolar world na ngayon kasi kanya-kanyang market. So, US being a strong domestic market and now being a protectionist regime, really focused on making the internal companies within the country flourish. So, isa pa yon. Pangatlo, napakaraming sector na nasa megatrends, hindi lang technology, na marami sa Amerika. This is very big. Healthcare at saka energy. O, di ba? Siyempre, yung healthcare, sabi nila, we will all live to 100. O, sino magdadala niyan? Siyempre, yung biotech, yung mga cancer research. O, maaring healthcare ang mag-flourish, kaya ang dami din tumaya sa healthcare. Also, energy. Bakit? Lahat ng technology, lahat ng internet, ano ba kailangan niyan? Di siyempre, kailangan niyang kuryente. Diba? So, when you now need the energy to fuel the internet, to fuel trade, to fuel all of these retail engagement. So, maaaring kailangan i-backstop mo ng energy. Unfortunately, lahat ng megatrends na yan hindi represented sa Philippine Stock Exchange. Diba? Wala tayong technology company, wala tayong healthcare company. So, parang kawawa naman tayo, diba? So, talagang kailangan mag-isip-isip tayo ng pag-diversify outside the country also.
Ayun nga eh. Parang may nabasa ko na kung ang US may Magnificent 7, ang Philippines lang may Magnificent 0. Kasi wala tayo nun dito sa Pilipinas, unfortunately. But all the things that you've said, Boss Rex, syempre, the US market is strong last year. Would it be the same this year? Is it still strong or baka nag-overheat? Masyado ba tayong focus sa US? What should the Filipino investors do?
So that's a very, very pointed question, Tricia. No? Kasi yun ang pakiramdam ng marami. Kasi nga, sobrang laki ng tinaas. Alam mo naman, what goes up must come down, di ba? So, ngayon, nagkakaroon na ng movements, no? Or sabihin na natin cracks in the promise. Kasi parang, teka lang, na-over yata yung pricing nyo eh. Di ba? Parang hindi naman yata ganun talaga consistent or ganun ka sustainable yung rise in earnings na ganun. So medyo nag-iisip-isip din na marami, parang kumbaga sa curve, masyado siyang matarik. So ngayon, medyo nagiging choppy na. And again, if you're going to be in the US market, I will be very selective. Kumbaga po, nangyari na yung pagka-shoot up in the last 2 or 3 years, dapat mag-iingat tayo dahil ang merkado po, hindi ganyan yan. Hindi tuloy-tuloy yan lagi. Siyempre, there will be tinatawag nating breaks or corrections. Now, I'm not saying there is no opportunity in the US. Mali din yun. Meron pa din yan. But there would be a cycle, much like what's happening to us. There would be other industries that will be doing better. So, dapat nakaagapay tayo, dapat nakabantay tayo. It is still good to be invested, but now it is not as easy as, everything goes up. Hindi na ganon. Kailangan mamili ka na din kasi nga medyo meron ng tinatawag na mga correction in some counters.
So, Boss Rex, you're saying na hindi naman kinakailangan mag-trim or let's say mag-redeem yung mga Filipino investors in terms of US?
Yes, I guess the indices are still doing well. Sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, di ba, wag mo nang bantayan yung ups and downs na yan. Tayaan mo na lang yung S&P 500 index. You will always do well. Kasi, ang problema ng marami, di ba, ang driver natin sa pag-i-invest sa funds, sa stocks, yield, yung kita. So, pag may kumita, dun tayo. Di ba, tumakbo na nga So, bit mo hahabulin. Di ba, dapat nakatingin ka dun sa mga sectors na unang-una, hindi pa masyadong lumilipad, napalipad pa lang. Or, hindi naman ibig sabihin, tanggalin mo yung lahat ng pera mo dyan. Kasi, aakyat pa rin yan. Pero, maaaring, hindi na kasing laki ng dati. But they're still worthy investments. I'm not saying they're not. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin, dapat marunong tayong mag-diversify. Marunong tayong tumaya dun sa mga bagong megatrends.
So, Boss Rex, you're saying na i-as is muna natin, wag na nating hayaang i-withdraw or what?
Oo, kasi unang-una, alam mo, ang laging attitude ko pag sinasabi ng mga taong magdadivest ako, unang tanong ko lagi dyan, saan mo ililipat? Diba? Sigurado ka ba yun ang paglilipatan mo mas maganda kaysa dito? That's one. Second, when people take away their money, what's the biggest temptation? Magasta mo. O di lalong nagkawindang-windang yung iyong investment journey kasi tinanggal mo, ginasta mo, kumita ka nga, pero naubos naman, nagaste, di ba? And I guess the third, which is really a real risk for many of us, di ba? Pag nagdadivest tayo, di ba? Parang gusto kong isipin ng marami, yan ba, yung perang makukuha mo, ilalagay mo sa iba, sigurado ka bang yung paglilipatan mas maganda? Di ba? Hindi lang yung paglilipatan mas maganda. Yung pagtatanggal mo, hindi ba, tanungin din natin yung sarili natin, okay, US versus Philippines, maganda pa rin ang US Mag-i-invest ka pa ba? If the answer is yes, bet mo tatanggalin. If it's a good decision to stay invested. Di ba? So, kailangan, Risha, para sa akin, okay, gusto nating mag-diversify. Maglagay ka ng new money. Kasi yung iba, switch. Ang tanong, sinwitch mo lang ano yung total yan? Di ba yung pa din? Dapat nagdadagdag ka on a consistent basis, you add on to your principal. Ganyan ang strategy. So, I'm saying, yung situation mo ngayon, yung strategy mo, maaring it's not working currently because of the changes, because of the waves of turmoil. Pero teka lang, hayaan mo muna dahil baka bumalik at mag-recover yan, kawawa ka pag tinanggal mo. Pero dapat magpasok ka ng pera sa iba na pambalanse dun sa position mo ngayon.
Since, Boss Rex, you've pinag-compare nyo po yung US and Philippine market. Alam naman natin lahat kung ano nangyari sa Philippine market natin last year. But talking about this year, since sabi nga nila, bagong taon, bagong baka opportunities also, and we know na kahit underperforming siya, meron ba kayo nakikitang light with what's, paano magiging navigation ng Philippine market ngayon aside with what you've mentioned po kanina?
Well, ako nga magiging selective, no? And that's the reason why I will elect to invest in fund managers. Not funds, but fund managers who are top performers. Kasi dito mo makikita, this is where you separate the men from the boys. Alam mo, in a market that's going up, lahat tayo magaling. Lahat, kahit sino, pwedeng mag-direct stocks. Kahit di mo naintindihan. Kasi bakit yung market But when the markets are volatile like this, doon mo makikita ang differentiation, yung magaling at hindi. Kaya ako, syempre, mga partners naman natin yan di ba? Atram, BPI, di ba? Yun yung mga pangalan na pwede nating tayaan. PhilEquity, di ba? Sabi ko nga, kinumpute ko yung earnings nila. Mas maganda pa sa earnings ko. Bet pa ako magpapakahirap. di mas mabuti pa. Ituloy na lang natin itong educating our ka-RFFs kesa mag-invest ako, makalbo pa ako lalo, pero hindi naman ako nagkakaroon ng yield na kagaya nila. So, pag napili natin, for example, si Atram, ano yung mga top performing funds ni Atram na nasa Philippine market? Di ba, syempre, kilalang-kilala naman, Alpha Opportunity Fund. Even in a down market, ganun ang yield niya. So, ano sinasabi natin? Can you imagine if this fund does so well during the bad times? Ang tanong ko, how do you think it will do during the good times? Di ba? Bad times nga, ang ganda ng yield Ano pa kaya pag gumanda palalo? So, kailangan makinig din sila sa kanilang mga ka-RFFs, yung ating mga business development officers, kasi sila yung nakakaalam So, we will have a fund manager in a fund that will be matched to your objectives and to your needs. Kaya po sa amin, ako ayoko magbigay ng all-encompassing na advice. Kasi bakit? Dapat po ito different folks, different strokes Kung ano man yung goal mo, dapat tinatapatan natin ng tamang investment.
So with this, Boss Rex, correct me if I'm wrong, kasi last year, most of the Filipinos investors are hesitant to invest or magdagdag sa current funds sa Philippines, kaya nag-focus sila globally. So you're saying na this year, it's time to go back or recalibrate, refocus ulit sa mga funds na we have here in the Philippines kasi, ano nga po yung you've mentioned na pwedeng tumaas uli siya.
Yeah. Kasi, okay, I'm not saying bad yung international. Okay yun I will retain my international position kasi diversification yon. However, pag tinanong mo ko ngayon kung saan mangyayari yung turnaround, pupusta ako sa Pilipinas kasi yung ibang markets mataas na Diba? Tayo, mura pa. No? Hindi ko lang nga sigurado kung tatagal. Diba? Yun ang downside. But based on my own analysis of valuations, mura na po talaga So, pwede na natin bigyan ng higher level of commitment. And as I've said, hindi naman natin kailangang isipin na babawi agad. Ang alam lang natin, there will be a big propensity to recover. Kaya siya ang lalagyan ko ng medyo mas malaking commitment sa ngayon. Kasi hindi pa tayo gumagalaw lahat nagsigalawan na. So hopefully, we also do a good job of managing government. We also do a good job in making our institutions work. Kasi yun lang naman ang problema natin, Tricia. I think in terms of fundamentals, in terms of company performance, medyo okay naman tayo. Hindi naman kasamaan talaga Ang problema natin, sentiment. Walang confidence ang merkado. Lalong-lalo na ang foreign fund managers. Kaya kailangan magpakita ang gobyerno ng konting tikas, magpakita ang gobyerno ng konting, resolute perspective para talagang solve nila yung mga problema. And if the confidence comes back, malaking lipad yung market natin.
Opo. Kasi mga ka-RFF, if you're not aware, here at Ramver, we have a lot of funds na Ramver is confident na, alam yun, i-advise or, tawag nga po dun, i-recommend sa inyo. And if you're hesitant or say, hindi pa kayo masyadong pagamay kung how investing works, kasi we all know na here in the Philippines, when we talk about investing, medyo maraming pang taboo and mga misinformation. So, everyone, please don't forget and huwag kayong mag-hesitate to ask us or to reach us in our socials as well so we can help you start your investing journey. So, next tayo, Boss Rex, still talking about the Philippines, no? So, with reforms, you propose SEC and PSE rules and possible IPOs, attractive na po ba ulit ang Philippine equities?
Talaga namang attractive. As I've said, medyo maganda nga yung position ng iba. Pero, I think, kailangan magpakita talaga yung gobyerno ng seriousness in developing the capital markets. No? And when I say this, talagang kailangan maging a bit of supportive naman sila sa negosyo. Hindi yung laging regulation, laging parang pulis Hindi ganon. Sa ibang bansa, like sa Singapore, supportive sila sa business. Supportive sila sa listed stocks. So, lumalaki yung kanilang capital markets. Tayo nga, parang except for a few big moves on taxation, fairly recently, yung sales tax, di ba parang hindi ko talaga nakikitang ganun ka-supportive. So, sana, if they step the gas on being parang one with the market, then our capital markets will grow. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, ang problema natin hindi earnings and fundamentals. Hindi economy. Kasi nandun pa din yung growth. Maliit, bumaba, pero nandun pa din. So, ano talagang problema natin? Confidence. And isa sa nagbibigay ng confidence is government. Kasi kung supportive yung gobyerno, syempre, mas tatapang yung investor. Diba? Ang nangyayari sa atin, hindi ganun ka-supportive and medyo nagdadalawang isip yung investor. So parang walang catalyst. Kailangan magkaroon ng catalyst and government will be part of it.
So yun pala siya, Boss Rex. Kasi ako personally, medyo nahihirapan din akong i-navigate. And syempre, as representative ng mga ka-RFF natin, I get to ask you these questions. So you've mentioned po kanina, Boss Rex, Singapore. Philippines versus other Asian countries. Ano yung position natin versus sa kanila? Kasi from what I've heard, si Taiwan and South Korea, medyo nagsusoar high yung stocks nila. So, ano yung position natin Philippines?
Napakalungkot. Mahina. Isa tayo sa pinakamahina, if not the lowest in Asia right now. There was a day when we were absolutely the lowest. No? Ewan ko lang, dahil sa recovery na recent, baka naman hindi na tayo kulelat, pero talagang naging kulelat tayo. And why is that? Because the volumes in other countries are a lot bigger. Alam nyo, kung tatapatin po natin yung mga countries in dollars yung trades nila daily, sobrang layo po natin. We're now only at around $0.1 billion. Samantalang ang Vietnam nasa $1 billion. So, 1/10. So, supply and demand dictates prices. Ibig sabihin, when people want to buy and there are no sellers, aakit ang market. When people are selling and then wala ring buyers, bababa yung market. So yun ang kitang-kita nating nangyayari. Walang masyadong interest, walang masyadong energy ang ating capital markets, and that's the reason why yung presyo natin continues its downtrends.
Kasi si China last year has a sharp rise. So, with that being said, Boss Rex, can you share bakit naging ganun yung market ni China?
Okay, dati kasi nagkaroon ng problema talaga ang China lalo na during the pandemic, di ba? It started with the pandemic, even before the pandemic pala, with the Hong Kong riots, nandyan na. So medyo may konting political upheaval din sila. Tapos yung kanilang economic track moving forward, medyo nagkaroon din ng konting abuse yung malalaking kumpanya. So makikita natin yung mga real estate companies na nag-overproduce, tapos overcredit, medyo nagsiputukan dahil hindi nakabayad ng utang, the government had to step in. So, medyo may konting slowdown na precipitate ng mga issues na yon. So, tuloy-tuloy yon. Now, why is China recovering really well? It's because they're getting their act together. Ibig sabihin, government now, through its direct and medyo unilateral declaration that they're going to be pushing the economy further, talagang pinaniwalaan ng global markets. And true enough that they did it. No? They strengthened the domestic market through incentives. They were able to deregulate certain sectors in the economy. Kasi alam mo, compared to us, alam mo China, central management. Di ba? I think, yung difference na yun on a personal basis po, mabigat para sa akin. When your politician doesn't need to win an election, pwede nilang gawin lahat ng tamang bagay. Kasi they don't have to be popular. In the Philippines, because our political system is set up in such a way na kailangan popular ang politiko. Kailangan mahal ng tao. Di ba? Gagawa siya ng paraan para mapalapit siya sa tao. Even if this would be the wrong economic moves. So, ang nangyayari, we decide on what's popular, not on what is objective, not on what is necessary. So, medyo may tama tayo doon. Si China, central government Wala namang eleksyon dyan So, gagawin nila yung mga bagay na kailangan gawin, which they've done. And then third, which is very important, ang laki ng binoost nila doon sa tinatawag na stimulus for their domestic economy. Di ba? Ang nangyari sa kanila, in-strengthen nila through taxation, through foreign investments. Ang issue dyan ganito no? Yung politics, inakyat nila centrally. Yung economics, binaba nila. Alam mo ba sa China, ang mayor ng isang city nakakapagbigay ng incentive sa negosyo. Mayor. Samantalang dito, kailangan ang magbigay Board of Investments, very central. Ang sa atin, yung politics, yun ang nasa baba. Pati barangay captain, kailangan manalo ng eleksyon So, popularity contest. Pero, yung economics natin, yun ang ginawang central, baliktad. Di ba? Baliktad. Kaya ito yung nagiging problema natin. That's why, in that regard, medyo nakakalamangan China sa atin.
With what you've said, Boss Rex, parang nafe-feel ko tuloy, ang laki talaga ng role or part ng politics in every countries, right? And yun din yung isa sa reason kung paano nagsisirculate ang isang economy. Depende din siya sa politicians. Kaya medyo mahirap yung Philippines because of what's happening sa atin last year.
Yeah, clear na clear. It's born out of a system that's flawed. And unfortunately, yung weak system na yon na-take advantage pa ng mga unscrupulous individuals and politicians. No? Hindi ko naman nilalahat dahil there are pockets of growth, there are pockets of leadership that would be ethical and that would be productive. Unfortunately, minority yun Mas marami yung naging abusado, mas marami yung naging problema.
Kasi feel ko, Boss Rex, it's always like a running question sa mind ng mga Filipinos kung bakit ba lagi ganito yung Philippine market? What's wrong with us? Is it the government? Is it the Filipinos? Kasi sabi nga nila, di ba, mayaman naman ang Pilipinas. So bakit tayo lagi nahuhuli at lagi tayong nasa laylayan, kumbaga, sa market?
It is very unfortunate because a lot of it boils down to leadership. We don't have the right leaders. And we're not actually holding our leadership to account. I mean, we should make sure we know how to make an accounting of who the performers are and who the non-performers are. We should be able to put in a clear public fashion who are working and who are not. Ang problema natin, yun nga, dahil popularity contest, ang ating mga politiko, lalo na sa probinsya, kung sino yung mahilig makipag-inuman, kasama sa kasal binyag libing, yun ang mga panalo. Pero yung nagtatrabaho, hindi na nanalo. So, i-compare natin, Tricia, sa corporate. Di ba sa corporate, may mga katatapos lang natin ng performance evaluation, di ba? So, alam natin what we should deliver, how we should deliver it, and when. So, alam na alam ng boss mo kung nagawa mo trabaho mo o hindi. In our political system, walang ganun. So, since walang measure of what is good performance and what is bad performance, it becomes very subjective. And when it becomes subjective, anong reason for voting? Popularity. Binoboto mo dahil kilala mo. Binoboto mo dahil gwapo. Diba? Hindi naman yun ang performance ng isang tao in terms of leadership. So, if we'll just have better leaders, malaki po ang mangyayari talaga sa ating bayan. Malaki ang mangyayari sa bansa.
Pero, Boss Rex, hindi naman I'm not agreeing with you. Kasi we all know that there's a lot of great leaders here in the Philippines. It all boils down then sa tao. Kasi kahit may credentials na dyan, nasa mukha mo na, talagang hindi nila paniniwala, no? Nasa Pilipino din siya. And for you, Boss Rex, meron ba kayong like a tiny tip sa mga viewers natin na versus popularity versus, let's say, credentials, paano nyo sila, in your own words, mako-convince na you should really focus about the leadership if you really want the Philippines to change?
I think I understand what you're trying to say, Tricia. Kasi ang nagiging problema nga naman natin, it's the electorate that puts people in power, di ba? So, hindi naman tayo nagkulang sa dami ng magagaling na leader na nag-offer ng kanilang mga sarili sa ika nga tinatawag nating leadership tasks or leadership positions. Di ba? Maraming sumubok. Pero, unfortunately, yung magagaling pa ang hindi pinalad.
Oo.
Di ba? So, ano yung magiging tip ko? Ano yung parang medyo sa akin non-negotiable? Ang non-negotiable po ay dapat matuto yung Pilipino, bawat isa sa atin na bumoboto, no? Na kilatisin. Hindi lang ang galing, kasi maraming magaling eh. Pero yung performance na talaga, ano na ang nai-contribute niyan, ano na ang naibigay niyan sa bayan, at maaaring tingnan niya din, ano yan, one is capability, the other is performance. So capability, talent, education, iba pa yung experience, yung performance talaga. But all in a foundation, very important, Tricia, in a foundation of values. Kasi yun ang nawala sa atin, walang values eh. Di ba, merong mga magagaling, pero they do unethical things, they get to stumble into, all of these, decision points na hindi na nila masyadong nagagawang klaro what is right and what is wrong. Yun ang nagiging problema natin. Once it happens that way, kahit magaling, baka magamit pa ang galing para magoyo ang bayan. Di ba? Ganun ang nangyayari sa atin. So, ako, I agree with you. Let's come up with a framework so that our voters would know how to vote better and more effectively.
Thank you so much, Boss Rex, for that. So, I hope, kahit na medyo lumayo tayo ng konti sa topic, it's a tip, it's a learning din. Kasi I think it's all boils down din talaga sa ating mga Pilipino and who we elect. Kasi if we really want the Philippines to change, if we want our economy to foster even further, it's all about the leadership, as Boss Rex mentioned nga. Pero Boss Rex, going back tayo dun sa China, since alam natin na the China market last 2025 really nag-boom talaga. Do you think China can sustain it hanggang ngayong taon, 2026?
Oh, I think so. Medyo yung tinatawag na fundamental structure ng China, yung nagawa nila sa kanilang business environment, kaya. And in fact, I feel, sila compared to many other nations, sila yung country na kayang-kayang, hindi naman masasabing kayang-kaya, but capable bumangga dun sa tariffs ng Amerika. Kasi meron silang strong domestic economy, ang laki ng kanilang population. Tapos, kung ayaw makipag-trade sa kanila ng Amerika, marami pang ibang bansa nakatrade na rin nila eh. So, ibig sabihin, hindi sila ganun ka vulnerable. So, I feel confident about China's prospects for the future.
So, with that, Boss Rex, can you share like some brand or company names in China na parang the investors should look out for?
Naku, di syempre, kumbaga sa technology, ika nga natin, megatrend, technology, ay merong katapat ang Magnificent Seven ng Amerika sa China. Di ba? Nandyan ang Tencent, nandyan ang Alibaba. Di ba? These are all tech and consumer-focused companies that can stand toe-to-toe with the Facebooks of the world, with the Amazons of the world, di ba? Kailangan makita natin, di ba, na ito palang mga kumpanyang to, parang mirror image din, pero meron silang sariling merkado, di ba? Kung mapapansin mo, yung tinatawag nating WeChat, di ba, parang Facebook, Viber, combination na yan. Pero alam mo, parang GCash din yun. WeChat, sa China, may payment gateway na sila. So, talagang may wallet, kumpleto sila. So, nasa WeChat na lahat. So, parang siya, mega app. Diba? So, yun ang natin. Parang syempre, minsan, sa bali-balita, nakafocus tayo sa Amerika, nakafocus tayo sa mga brands na close to our hearts. Like, diba, syempre, Apple, ganyan. O ba, hindi natin nakikita, nandyan si Huawei, nandyan si Xiaomi, di ba? O Shopee. Ang dami yan. So, kailangan malaman natin na, if you're going to be looking at the Asian economy as a whole, di ba, napaka-optimistic ng future. Yan din yung mga kumpanyang nandito eh. Di ba? So, ngayon, sila ang makikinabang. Di ba? As much as Apple actually had a global growth because of their market intrusion into some countries. Ganun din ang mangyayari sa Chinese companies. Magkakaroon din sila ng high level of exports, high level of visibility in Asia.
So we all know na po na maganda nga ang market ni China. But aside from China sa Asian market, meron pa bang other countries po na may seem attracting sa Filipino investors natin or magiging interested in po sila?
Naku, syempre, andyan ang Vietnam. 'Di ba? Dati, talon-talo natin ang Vietnam. Ngayon, milya-milya na ang lamang sa atin in terms of their economy, in terms of their capital markets, yung volume nila, nakakainggit. At ngayon, napakasakit, kasi pati tourist arrivals, gulping-gulpi na tayo. Kasi, kung mapapansin nyo, ako naman po, well-traveled, modesty aside, ang dami ko nang naikot. Alam nyo, comparing Philippine destinations to world destinations, may pagmamalaki po talaga natin Yung Palawan, yung Siargao, yung Boracay, mapagmamalaki natin Pero, ilan ang dumadating dito? Kasi, bago ka makarating ng Palawan, ilang eroplano sasakyan mo, ilang magpapalit ka from, sabi nga nila, napakabigat na gauntlet yung land, sea, and air iikutan mo bago ka pa makarating doon sa beach, 'di ba? Diskaril ng forma mo. The infrastructure of Vietnam is at a very high level. And again, if there's another country that I like, it's also Indonesia. Indonesia has the right structures, that they have the right market systems. 'Di ba? Sabi ko nga, pagdating sa tourism, alam nyo ba? Mas sikat pa ang Bali sa Europe than Indonesia. Hindi kilala ng mga Europeans ang Indonesia, kilala nila Bali. Bakit? For the longest time, yung airport ng Bali, mas maganda pa sa airport ng Jakarta. So, pag gusto mo pumunta ng beach, diretso ka sa Bali, hindi ka dadaan ng Jakarta. International airport yon. Tayo, paano ka makakapunta ng Boracay? Magnanaiya ka muna. O doon, nawala na yung bag mo doon, di ba? O natanimbala ka na. Di ba? Parang, tapos, sasakay ka pa ng, okay, pupunta ka na naman ng domestic, di sasakay ka na naman ng taxi, lipat ka ng eroplano, okay? O, di sasakay ka na, papunta ka na ngayon ng Katiklan. O, pagdating mo ng Katiklan, bababa ka na naman ng eroplano, di ba? Sasakay ka na naman ng tricycle or ng van, saka pupunta sa jetty. O, yung jetty station, pipila ka na naman, ano sasakyan mo? Bangka. O, sasakay ka na naman ng bangka. Pagdating doon, sasakay ka na naman ng van or tricycle bago ka pa makarating sa hotel mo. Di ba? Diskaril na ang forma. Hindi kagaya sa kanila, pag diretsong Bali, ayun na, nandun na yung beach. We have to do something. And I guess that's the reason why I favor these countries. I'm not saying they're ultimately better than the Philippines. If we do have our act together, I don't think they will go ahead of us. But we'll have to play catch up now because unfortunately, they've done a better job.
I think with that, Boss Rex, parang meron kasi akong napanood din na like a news na ang kulang sa Philippines is service and quality. Kasi we all have the resources
Kasi nga, resilient yung kanina sinasabi mo. Di ba? Yun ang problema ko. That's why I really hate that word. Supposedly it's a good word, but I hate it. Why? Because Filipino resilience is tantamount to accepting lower standards. Ulitin ko yon, which is very important to me. I realize this. The Filipino resilience is tantamount to accepting lower standards. Pag ang Singaporean, padaanin mo dito, mag-apply ng negosyo, pupunta sa SEC. Di ba? Ilang buwan bago makatanggap ng approval. Ilang dadaan ng pirma bago pag-register ng kumpanya. Alam mo pa sa Singapore, pag pumunta ka sa SEC, hapon na pick up mo na yung dokumento mo. Hapon naka-register ka na.
Same day.
Di ba? Same day. So, tayo sa resilience natin, tinatanggap natin, ganyan pala talaga So, di ba, titibayan ko na lang ang pakiramdam ko. Hindi, tinanggap mo So, we have to aspire to a higher level of standard for our services. Again, service is very important, but service has variations in terms of quality, and that's why the higher level of quality is what we need to aspire for.
Since you've mentioned a lot of examples na kung paano yung standing ni Philippines sa other ASEAN countries, ano ba yung mga services na ginagawa nila different, no? Na makes them very unique na sinabi nga or usually medyo iwan na tayo here in the Philippines.
Okay, a lot of people don't realize this. Alam mo ba, Trisha, na mas malaki pa ang Quezon City sa Singapore. Mas malaki pa ang Davao kaysa sa Singapore. Singapore is such a small state, no? Pero in terms of tourist arrivals, mas marami pa sila kaysa sa atin. Ano ba pwedeng makita mo sa Singapore? But they make up for it with the right systems. They make up for it by making tourists feel really good. So nasa service. Ika nga, yung produkto nila, beach, Sentosa. Naku, walang sinabi, matabungkay lang, talo pa yan. Pero, itong Boracay, yung sinabi ko kanina, pahirapan bago makapunta, sa kanila mabilis. And look at their airport. Ito isa napakatindi. Di ba? Pagbaba mo ng Singapore, doon pa lang sa immigration, may candy ka na. Ang liit na bagay ha. Yung may candy ka pagharap mo sa immigration officer, very personalized agad, very welcoming. Oy, sa atin, di ba, pagdating mo pa lang, hindi mo makakalam kung saan ka pupunta, di ba? Tapos, yung kanila, para ganahan ka, umaga sa airport. Di ba? Tayo, alam mo, kailangan maging maaga ka dahil pipila ka eh. Sa Singapore, gusto nilang maging maaga sa airport dahil ang ganda ng airport. May mall sila doon na may waterfall. Inaabangan ng mga tao every 30 minutes, every hour, merong waterfall. Tayo, nagkaka-waterfall lang pag may bagyo. Diba? Pag may tulo, pag maaraw, walang waterfall tayo. Yung mga airport natin. So, yung bang mga small touches na ganyan, you put them all together, they become more valuable. The experience becomes memorable. Sa atin, minsan, and sadly, many of our tourists, our guests, remember the ordeal, not the enjoyment. Kasi yung mga pinagdaanan nila, yung pa yung maaalala nila. Ang tanong, babalik ka pa ba? Yan eh. Yan ang problema natin. So, I hope we make improvements so that we do better. Kasi sayang yung ating natural resources. In any comparison, our natural resources are hard to match globally. We have the best. Sabi nga nila, dive sites in Asia. Out of the top 10, ilan ang nandito sa Pilipinas? Pero ilan ang nakakaalam nun? At kung gusto mo mampuntahan, paano? Diba? Yun ang sayang at nakakalungkot.
Oo nga po, Boss Rex. Actually, with what you've mentioned, talagang mayaman ng Pilipinas, no? Sobrang yaman ng Pilipinas. It's how the government, the economy, kung paano siya ina-navigate, kung ano yung mas importante. Thank you so much for that, Boss Rex. And let's proceed to our next topic. So actually, no, you've mentioned po kanina, earlier sa topic natin, it's really not necessary for the Filipino investors na mag-redeem or ipalipat-lipat, but more on dadagdagan na lang yung current investments nila. With what we've mentioned, meron tayong US, meron tayong Asian markets, and we have the Philippine market. So starting this year, saan ba mas magandang magsimula sa tatlong yun?
Okay, ako, dahil nga ang baba ng minimum, pwede mo naman sabay-sabayin eh. Pwede, kasi you can have a Philippine exposure, you can have an Asian exposure, and a US exposure. Now, that said, karamihan naman ng mga RFF natin may exposure na sa Philippines eh. So dapat yun ang gawan natin ng paraan na may diversify kasi masyadong concentrated risk. So siguro, medyo magdagdag tayo ng konti sa Pilipinas pero let's be sure na meron tayong dinadagdag na US at saka Asian exposure. Para months from now, a year from now, they will have a more strategically diversified portfolio. So again, different folks, different strokes, depende na sa ating exposure, kailangan i-revisit natin at i-rebalance natin. So that moving forward, we should be coming out of the lessons learned from the past and we will be better moving into the future.
But for you, Boss Rex, you've mentioned rebalance. Ito, pantay-pantay to. Pero do you have one recommendation amongst the three? Kahit nasabi niyong balance siya.
Ako siguro mas ko ngayon sa Asia, mas matapang ako when it comes to an Asian position. Kasi nga, most of the Asian economies are really doing well. Headwinds are going to be experienced this year in the US. So, para sa akin, magandang meron tinatawag na Asian exposure. I also mentioned, it's a time to also love your own. Diba? Ako feeling ko may turnaround story ang Pilipinas, especially in the second half. So, I will also make it a point to grow my portfolio in the Philippine market. And then, the US market, yan talagang pang spice up ng aking portfolio because I can never be underexposed to the US market. Kailangan talaga. Kasi, again, they're the leaders of the free world. Nandyan talaga yung mga kumpanya na that are very successful. Kasi, alam mo, Trisha, ma-explain ko lang. A lot of people think, pag sinabi mong Asian focus, Asian companies lahat. Mali eh. Alam mo ba, pag tiningnan mo ngayon yung Asian focus na mga funds, magugulat ka. Meron pa ring Apple. Meron pa ring Google. Why? Kasi, malaki pa rin yung market nila sa Asia. So when you see Asian focus funds, dapat hindi ka magulat na makakita ka ng US companies. US companies that have a very strong foothold in Asia. Even Amazon. Kasi cloud computing, di ba? Sila yung may-ari ng pinakamalaking storage. So, ang Amazon, nakakalat din sa Asia. So, makikita mo kahit Asian focused, meron pa rin mga kumpanyang ganyan. So, I would tend to assume na having exposures to all of these companies and markets would be very good for our ka-RFFs.
Actually, Boss Rex, with what you've mentioned po, yung Asian markets kasi, bago po siya sa akin. Kaya it's another learning sa akin. Knowing na there's a lot of opportunities sa Asian markets for this year, 2026. Sa Philippine market naman, actually, na-mention and nataka din natin siya sa previous episodes natin na with what's happening sa Philippine market natin, it always happens. Diba? With the previous, like, yung mga around 90s, kasi you've been there, Boss Rex. And wala pa ako noon. And then, for the US market kasi, I don't know if alam ng other viewers natin and sa mga ka-RFF natin na mahirap mag-invest sa US, pero dito sa Ramper, nag-o-offer tayo. And it's as accessible na din na, alam mo yun, lahat, almost the Asian, Philippine, and also US, meron tayo dito at Ramper.
Of course, and I would always say, hindi lang po geographic ang ating branding and slicing and dicing. We can also offer thematic funds, yung nakakonsentrate sa consumer trends, nakakonsentrate sa technology. Meron tayong ganyan. In fact, Trisha, may Catholic Values Fund pa nga tayo para dun sa ating mga ka-RFFs na nakafocus sa pag-support sa values and ethics ng ating religion. Diba? Na may mga nagtatanong na gano'n eh. Yan ba worthy of investing, Boss Rex? I will tell you yes. Because values in the future will definitely drive business performance. So maganda rin po yung nakikita natin that sustainability, values-based investing would be part of the way we decide what to put our money on.
Bale, marami talaga tayong choices and selection. It's all about kung ano yung goal din, 'di ba? Kasi nga meron tayong thematic, meron tayong iba't ibang sectors, meron tayong iba't ibang market. It's all up to you din, mga ka-RFF, kung saan ka mas comfortable. Kasi meron din naman tayong tinatawag dito na conservative, moderate, tsaka aggressive na investor. So it's all up to you. Kasi here at Ramper, actually, we're just guiding you kung ano yung tamang investment and tamang, way sa inyo in terms of your goals din. And Boss Rex, here, ngayong taon, 2026, para sa inyo, ano po ang itsura ng isang well-diversified and risk-adjusted portfolio?
Okay, for 2026, this year, I think, clear pa din talaga na mabigat dapat yung Philippine exposure. Ako, I cannot discount the fact that there can be a possible turnaround. But I would probably be medyo 50, 25, 25. Meaning, 50 sa Philippines, 25 sa US, and 25 sa Asia. Okay, now, pwedeng plus or minus 5% yan. It can be 60, 20, 20. It can be 50, 30, 20. Depende na yan dun sa, goals and aspirations ng ating mga ka-RFF. Kasi, importante pa din na upuan natin sila, sabihin natin sa kanila ano ba talaga yung risk-return parameters. Kasi alam nyo, it's not simply supposed to be yields that's driving our decision-making. Yun ang karamihang pitfall ng Filipino investor. Saan ba malaki kita? Diyan ako. Mali . Kailangan po may tinatawag na risk-adjusted yields. Na kahit sabihin mo malaki kita niyan, pero high risk yan. So kailangan tapatan mo siya ng lower risk position para overall acceptable level of return and acceptable level of risk. Diyan po makakatulong ang Ramper. Diyan po tayo makakapagsabi na, ito bagay sa'yo. Ito mas bagay sa'yo. Para po kaming, as an analogy, isipin niyo kami para kaming mga tailor or modista, di ba? Sinusukatan namin kayo, tinatama. Kasi dito sa Ramper, ayaw namin ng RTW. Kasi pag sinabi mong RTW, pinipilit mong pagkasyahin. Hindi siya fit sa'yo. Tayo, sinasabi natin ano ba talaga ang potential, ano ang pwedeng pagpilian, pero at the end of the day, dapat bagay sa'yo.
So sa mga bago and, want to be or soon to be investors natin, we're here at Ramper everyone to help you guide on your financial journey. But for our existing investors, Boss Rex, meron ka bang advice in terms of their portfolio na, nire-revisit nila yung portfolio nila for this year? Meron ba kayong advice for them?
Okay, I'd really want us to revisit each other's portfolio. I really want to go through the exercise. Kasi alam niyo po, ang mga fund manager ginagawa yan. As I've said, January is a good time to do this because January is turning a new leaf on a new year. It would be good to come up with a review. Ano yung nangyari nung 2025? Ano mga tama at maling ginawa natin? Para hindi na natin ulitin yung mga mali at pag lubos-lubusin natin yung mga tama. So that's one. That's very important. Second, it's also a good time to also really make sure what will perform and for us to be participating in what will perform. So clear, we have to focus on all of these things para naman yung journey natin mas komportable. Kasi mahirap po yung parang roller coaster. Parang, ito mas mataas ang kita, tataya ka doon. Ito mas mataas, tataya ka doon. Alam nyo, may analogy ako dyan, pag minsan, yung mga palipat-lipat ng fund. Para kang Trishan sumakay ng jeep . Tapos pagsakay mo, huminto. Tapos impatient ka. Dahil nakikita mo ang daming dumadaan, di ba? Bababa ka. Pagbaba mo, sumakay ka ng bisikleta. Umaandar yung bisikleta pero mabagal at bibiglang tumakbo yung jeep. Ang bilis-bilis na. So parang, di ba po, mas maganda is that we have a position based on our risk parameters. We have a position that matches our goals and again, Ramper can help you with that. And dapat po, tingnan natin what our options are. Sa Ramper Online, clear na clear. Pwede na kayo on your own. And napakababa siya ng minimum for them to start.
With revisiting the portfolios, ano yung biggest mistake or lesson na ginawa ng Filipino investors last year?
Okay. And we see this, no? Marami tayong kausap ng mga ka-RFF. So, alam natin na totoong nangyari ito. So, the markets fell and people were, in shock. Big mistake, walang emergency fund. Nag-invest, nag-umpisa ng portfolio, walang emergency fund. So, double whammy. Bakit? Bumaba, nangailangan ng pera. So, kailangan mag-redeem, lugi. Ang sakit nun, no? The other possibility is this. O hindi nagka-problema. Pero bumaba yung market. Ang gandang bumili. Wala kang pambili dahil walang liquidity. 'Di ba? So, sayang yung opportunity and we're putting ourselves in danger. That is one big problem. Pero alam mo, Trisha, when I think about problems, there are others eh. Yung iba naman, asset allocation. Concentrated sa Pilipinas. Bumagsak ang Pilipinas, umakyat ang US, umakyat ang Asia, naiwan tayo. So anong kulang? Diversification. Kulang ng asset allocation. 'Di ba? And lastly, but obviously not the least, 'di ba? Hindi nag-aral. Alam na nagkamali, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang gagawing mali. So parang ang investing ginawang sugal. You will have to be a lifelong learner. You will have to listen to learning opportunities such as this para kung ka-RFF kayo, medyo malayo na dapat ang pinagdaanan nyo in terms of learnings and lessons. So, we want you to be with us. We want to be able to handhold you. So, each and every exchange that we'll have is a learning experience.
Pero kayo, Boss Rex, meron ba kayo naging biggest learning mistake last year?
Alam mo, actually, napaka-empathic ko dun sa mga sinabi ko. Guilty ako dun sa mga yan eh. Di ba? Kahit papano, in my own little way, may guilt tayo. No? So, ngayon, syempre, instead of just admitting guilt, ano ba yung resolution? Di ba? Nag-umpisa tayo, Trisha, resolution, 180 degrees. Balik tayo sa resolution. So, dapat, yung asset allocation, different levels. Number one, dapat different currencies. So, hindi lang dapat peso, dapat meron tayong konting dollar exposure. At syempre, obviously, pag nasa Asia tayo, hindi naman yan direct, pero meron kang Asian exposure to the Chinese yuan, magkakaroon ka ng exposure to the Taiwanese dollar kung merong Taiwanese company doon. So, napaka-importante no, na may balanced exposure ka on currency. Number two, exposure on geography. 'Di ba? Medyo hindi lang Pilipinas, sabi nga natin may Asia, may US. So balance yung geography mo, 'di ba? Number 3 is also the industry. 'Di ba mahirap naman yung puro ka technology kung yun nga cracks are showing, valuations are getting stiff. Pwedeng mahulog 'yan kung doon ka nakapusta, delikado ka. So again, the thematic, maybe the industry is also very important. And lastly, ito naman, sasabihin ko din ng tapat, asset class. Kasi mahirap din naman yung puro kayo marketable securities. Di ba? Siyempre, meron ding real estate, meron ding gold and precious metals, and sometimes commodities. I'm sure, ang mga nakababata nating ka-RFF, may mga cryptocurrency yung iba dyan. So, this whole diversification thing really helps. But we have to be comfortable with our exposures.
Okay. Since na-mention niya rin, Boss Rex, before we close our episode for today, can you give one clear financial advice to our Filipino investors and soon-to-be RFF this 2026?
Ako, fresh year, either one, you start. Kasi alam nyo po, I don't care how much, I don't care how little, basta start. Kailangan po umpisahan na natin ang ating investment journey. Number 2, dun sa mga nag-umpisa na, okay? Increase your level of commitment. Increase your level of commitment. Hindi po tama na nag-umpisa ka, nag-invest ka, yun na yun. Hindi. Buwan-buwan yan, quarter on quarter, dapat po yan dinadagdagan. And lastly, sana naman, New Year na New Year ngayon, may podcast kami. Tapos ito lang ang papanoorin nyo, wala na. No. Become a ka-RFF. Be with us. Go through the journey. And we will try as much as possible na mag-create ng value para sa inyo. Na hopefully, matuto po tayo, sabay tayo, at kung gumanda man ang takbo ng market o hindi, we are steadfast on that journey and we are positioned to fulfill our financial dreams.
Ang mga ka-RFF Boss Rex, sobrang refreshing ng topic natin ngayong umpisa pa lang ng taon, no? Ito agad yung pinag-uusapan natin. And I think it's good din, no, na to remind us again, bakit nga ba tayo nandito? Bakit nga ba tayo nag-i-invest? And if you want, no, to start our financial journey, it's really better na we're guided, especially with professionals such as Boss Rex here at Ramper. So, Boss Rex, thank you so much for that. And as we close this episode, remember mga ka-RFF, that the real progress this new year comes from systems, okay? Not goals. Build habits that stick and tie them to your identity. See yourself as someone who will save, invest, and grow. And of course, surround yourself with a community that supports the mission. For many Filipinos, the most powerful resolution is simple, no? As Boss mentioned, pay yourself first this 2026. Save consistently, invest wisely, and explore the new income streams, no? If kaya nyo mag-part-time na kayo. And of course, after you secure your emergency funds, of course. And with this, thank you so much. And for this 2026, look for undervalued sectors. Marami na mention si Boss Rex. With recovery potential, diversify across the markets and themes, and anchor everything on clear asset allocation strategy. This year is about becoming intentional with your money and building a system that works for you, one step and one habit at a time. Muli, ako po si Trisha, your host for today at Ramper Studio. And together, we're here again with Boss Rex. Boss Rex, thank you so much po again. Thank you mga ka-RFF, and see you in our next episode.